Welcome everyone to Omega Statistics. Today we are learning how to get started using Stata 16. By the end of this video, you will be able to import your dataset, summarize your data, visualize your data, run frequencies, means, and standard deviations, and run chi-square tests. Let's begin by familiarizing yourself with Stata. This is your home screen. This is what you'll see every time you open up Stata. This is the data viewer. Your results will be reported here. Whatever you tell Stata to do, Stata will return your results in this window. In the top right hand of the frame is the variable viewer. This lists all of the variables in your working data set. On the bottom right is the variable viewer, where you can quickly locate the variable name, its label, the format it's stored in, and the value labels. On the bottom center is your command line. This is where you tell Stata what you want it to do. On the top left is your toolbar. You'll find things like opening a new data set, editing, browsing your data, graphics menus, statistics menus, and window menus, as also the help menu. After opening Stata, the first thing you run to do is to import your data. The easiest way to import your data is to use the toolbar. First click File, and then Import, and then select the type of file you would like to import into Stata. For today, I have a CSV file, so I'm going to click CSV, and it's going to open this window. I'm going to click on the little File button to search for my file. It's called Auto. I'm going to click Open, and then here in the window you can see the data. Here is the number ID. So 2, 3, 4, 5. This, and then the variables. The variables on top are make, price, MPG, rep 78, headroom, trunk, weight, length, turn. We have displacement, gear ratio, and then foreign is a 0, 1, yes, no. So everything looks great. Here are the types of variables. I can change them to numeric, or I can use a default. Price is numeric, it's not string, and then it changes in the little viewer. So I'm going to click OK, and so now its data says import delimited, and this is where the file was located. Another way to do importing into data, I'm going to clear the data out. Another way is to just type in your do file, import or use, and then the file name. So I'm going to open my data set, and I found my do file. It's going to open my do file, and the do file has all the commands I want to use. So another way to import your data is to type use and the file name. I'm going to highlight this and hit play, and it types it into the data viewer and tells Stata to use that file. Now you can see here in the variable list all the variables that I have and their labels. Next, I'm going to teach you how to summarize. So it's really easy. Once you import, whether you import through file or you type it into your do file, the direct file name, you're going to want to summarize your data. And all you have to do is type summarize into the command line, and it'll summarize all of the variables that I have in this data. So I have quite a bit in this data set. But I can see the number of observations, as well as the mean, the standard deviation, the min, and the max for all of my variables. Another way to do it is to just click on your do file if you've already written summarize, and it'll do the exact same thing. But what happens if you don't want a list of all of your variables? You just want certain ones. So let's go back to the auto file. I'm just going to use my do file and use the same command. You can see there's 12 variables and 74 observations. But I really want to know about price of the cars, the miles per gallon, and the length of the car. So I'm just going to type summarize and then my variables. So it gives me my 3 variables, their min, their standard deviation, and then their upper and lower bounds. Now, one thing you can do, if you don't want all 74 observations, you only want observations for cars that are over $6,500. So we're going to summarize or sum our variable, which is MPG, but only if the price of the car is over that $6,500 limit. So we're just going to click play on our do file, and here we have 17 observations. So we have 17 cars with a miles per gallon and a mean of 17.5 miles per gallon if the price of the car is over $6,500. So this is great if you know what your data look like and how the variables are constructed. If you are unsure and you're working with a new data set, you're going to want to see what the data look like. So we're going to go to the data in the toolbar, and we're going to go to data editor. Now there's two options. You can either edit the data or you can just browse. For today we're just browsing so we can see everything, but we can't make any changes. So up here, the first row is our variables, and then the first column is just the entry number. So the first entry is an AMC Concorde. It is $4,099. It gets 22 miles per gallon. It has moderate headroom at 2.5 inches. It has trunk space. It is almost 3,000 pounds. It's 186 inches. It has a turn radius of 40 degrees. So you can see it, and it's not a foreign car. So you can see each of the variables. And this data set has one missing variable. It's going to be a period. That's your missing data. So for this variable rep 78, there is missing data. You can see all the variables over here in the top right. If you don't want to know about make and you just want to know about price and miles per gallon, you can unclick and it gets rid of all the other ones. And then you're left with price, miles per gallon, and whether it's foreign or not. Here, if we were editing, we could change the name. We can change the label of the car. We can also change the format and the type, and then the value label, and any notes we have. So if you're changing data or you're manipulating variables, you want to keep good notes. So we're just going to close out of the data editor. So that is how you visualize data. You can also use this little frame to change the name of the variables, the labels, and the formats. Next, we're going to do frequencies. So you can summarize variables this way, but if you want to know the exact count of each value label, so we have make of cars, but I want to know how many of each type of car it is. We're going to use the tab command. So tab, and then your variable name is make. So we're going to list all of the cars, makes, and their frequencies. So there's only one type of AMC Concorde. There's only one of each car. So this is a Datsun 200. There's only one, but a Datsun 210, a 510, an 810. And you can see both the frequencies, the percentage, and then the cumulative percentage for each one. And that's tab. Well, this is all of the cars. What happens if I just want the foreign cars? So I'm going to use tab and make as our variable again, and then I'm going to use the if statement. So I only want to know the make of the car if it's foreign. So I'm going to type if foreign equals 1, and there's two equal signs. And so now I have all of the cars listed, their frequencies, percentage, and cumulative percentage for all of the foreign makes. So you can see how you can manipulate your data and get the answers that you want. Again, what if I only want to see the makes of the cars if the price is under $6,500? So again, we're going to type tab, which is the command, make is our variable, and then our if statement, if the price is less than or equal to $6,500. So let's see what cars we get. We have a bigger selection. So the Concorde is under $6,500. It looks like most of the cars are under $6,500. There's a total of 57. So that means there's approximately 16 other cars that are above the $6,500 limit. So that's how you get frequencies for selected variables or selected types of data. I've already discussed in means and standard deviations in our summarize command. I can do that again. So here's just summarize, and this is all of our observations, our means. It looks like the average price is $61.65. So if you wanted to know how many cars are below the mean or above the mean, you can type in that. Now, what happens if you want to run a chi-squared? What happens if you wanted to know the difference between the foreign cars and your rep 78 variable? So you're going to use the tab command again, just like we did our frequencies, but this time you're going to type in two variables. We're going to type in foreign and rep 78. So these are going to be categorical variables. And then we're going to put a comma, and then chi-squared tells us the type of test we're going to do. So we're going to hit play. And here you can see the different categories. There's 5 categories for reps. And then there's a yes or a no for foreign. So you can see in categories 1 and 2, there's no reps for foreign. And then the foreign cars are in the higher rep range. And then you can see the total. So there's 48 domestic cars and 21 foreign cars for a total of 69. Now I believe there is some missing data because we had 74 observations. So that is something we will do in the next file, but this is how you get started with Stata. We have imported our data, we've summarized, we've visualized, we've run frequencies, means, standard deviations, and chi-squares. Thanks for joining me.